Hey, I am a Revision Geek and I want you to come and join my Revision Geek world. Welcome to the Diaries of a Revision Geek. I cannot wait for you to watch these interviews. They are so super fun. I've got qualified accountants together talking about their revision journeys, the highs, the lows, the struggles, and all the things in between about how other people got their plaque up on the wall and how they got qualified. I've picked qualified accountants in my LinkedIn network on purpose to help and support you guys, to inspire and motivate you if you are on your accounting journey. Feel free to like and subscribe below for more. Just click on the icons and I will keep you up to date with the Diaries of a Revision Geek. Let's get started. Welcome back to Diaries of a Revision Geek. Yes, we have a brand new episode for you today. Super excited about this one. And I have no idea what the journey is going to entangle and unfold in the next 20 minutes. So let me introduce our Revision Geek for today, Musharraf. Hi, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Musharraf Ismail. I work as a management accountant and I fully qualified as CIMA in January 2022. So a pretty newly qualified accountant.
You are a fresh Revision Geek. You got your CIMA plaque. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you for joining me today. I'm very excited. I know a tiny little bit about your journey, but let's get into the details. So yeah, let me know how your Revision Geek journey has gone.
Yeah, of course. So I graduated way back in 2010 in business economics. I got a 2-1 and, I was really happy with it. But then after that, I knew that wasn't quite gonna, earn me the big bucks. So I know I had to do something else after that. And then it wasn't until about sort of autumn 2010 where a friend of mine sort of recommended going down the accountancy route because he was trying to get into one of the big fours as well. So he recommended CIMA to me, or ACCA, whichever one. And then we went to a CIMA evening one night it was probably around October, November 2010. So about 11, 12 years ago. And yeah, I just met many people there who'd been qualified, newly qualified or had been qualified for years. And I was really inspired by them as well. And so that was kind of made a decision for me to join CIMA after that and to register with CIMA as well back at that point then as well. And then after that, the next sort of stage was to actually find a job that will actually fund this for me, because at the time I was working in Curry's PC World, so that was my part-time job that I'd held since I was 16, and so now I was looking for a first job after university. And luckily for me, after that talk, about 6 months later, I did manage to find a job working as a commercial analyst in Potter's Bar for a travel company called Castle Wagonlit Travel, and then they decided to start my funding in 2012. And so there I was. I started my journey on CIMA on the certificate level as well. So within 6 months, and this was the early part of 2012, I passed the certificate exams, no problem. So they were generally okay. Then in November 2012, I took my first 2 professional level papers. So it would have been F1 and E1. I passed E1 easily, but unfortunately, I didn't pass F1. So back to the drawing board. What do I do now? Because, I wanted to take P1 in the upcoming May in the exam then as well. And then luckily, by that point, the CIMA had 4 sittings per year. And then so I retook the exam so it would have been February 2013 then. I retook it. I passed it. And I was happy with that.
When you failed your F1 first off, how did that feel? What happened, or how did you feel?
I was really gutted by because it wasn't even like I just failed. It was quite a bad fail. So I think it's probably because I spent a bit too much time focusing on E1 that I kind of put F1 aside. I thought that I will pass F1. Maybe I should have put a bit more effort into into F1 you know, than I did with E1.
Oh, you took them all, you took them both at the same time?
Yes, I took them both at the same time. And yeah, and I passed E1, but unfortunately I failed F1. Sorry. Yeah. I can't even remember all these numbers. You know, it gets really confusing. And yeah, so then came February 2013. So that's when I retook F1. And yeah, so then I only just passed it then as well. I got 50% then as well. But I was like, okay, fine, I'll pass it.
Done.
And then after that came April 2013. So I took a new job then as well. And yeah, I was really excited. I was due to start the new job. It was for a company called Electrolux. So you're probably familiar with them. They make kitchen appliances. And then May 2013, I took P1. And yeah, so I did it. I thought I did as well as I could. Then June 2013 came. I started my new job. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So, you know, I was only there for about 4 weeks. And after the 4th week, I resigned and I just couldn't hack it. And then literally a day after I resigned, I also got my results for P1 as well, which was a big, massive fail on and as well. So it was like a double whammy of bad news then as well. You know, my head wasn't straight. I didn't know what I was doing then as well. You know, I'd left the company where I was in a relatively secure job. I had funding. Now I literally had no funding at all then as well. So I was a bit stuck in then as well in the second half of 2013. So when I look back at my career, the second half of 2013 is not really, I don't really have fond memories of it either. So then my next thing, what I did was, I think August 2014, that would have been, I forked out the money again to pay and do P1 out of my own accord. But unfortunately, I failed again. I think it's because I wasn't in the right mind to take an exam because I was really worried about my career. I didn't have a job. You know, it was the first time ever in my life where I hadn't worked, and because I'd been working since I was 16. And yeah, August 2014, it was another fail. And then 2013, not 14. And then after that came November 2013. I did it again. And guess what? I failed again.
Oh, damn it.
Because at that point, I still I didn't have a job then as well. So I still wasn't quite in the right frame of mind. So then December 2013 came, and then luckily for the first time in about 6 months, I got a job. I was like, yes, because in between the period where I was unemployed, I had like 9, 10 interviews from various different companies. I just wasn't getting the job. You know, it was either I was inexperienced or, you know, they weren't sure of me because they thought I might job hop again, you know, after what happened at my previous job. And so I took a 2-week temporary placement. So it was nice just going in 2 weeks working for a company, and that got me back into the job market then as well. So I was really happy with that. I left on a high as well. And then 2014, the new year came again. And then I started a new job it was a temporary placement for an energy company as a project accountant. And then this time I thought, right, let me go for P2 again. So I thought I'd try it. So by that point, it would have been 4th time lucky. I did in February 2014, and yes, I passed.
Yeah, well done. Well done for being so determined. Like, what was your motivating factor? What made you think not to give up and think, I want to pass P1, I'm going to keep going?
I just really wanted that CIMA journey. So, you know, so by that point, obviously, it'd been over 3 years since I went to the talk in London, which I really enjoyed. I thought, I can't give this up. You know, I'm a little bit of the way through. And I do remember from that talk, one of the ladies on there saying, you know, she had multiple failures along the way. Just whatever happens, just don't give up. Just continue doing it. It will be hard. It's not going to be easy. But I was really determined to just go for it. And then I took the exam in 2014 and in February 2014. And then, yeah, I was really happy with that. And when I passed.
Well done for keeping going. It is hard. And P1 is a challenging exam as well. So well done.
Yeah. And then, so the next stage of the journey then came. So that job that I was doing, that came to an end in March 2014, at the end of March 2014. So it was a 2-month temporary placement. And yeah, then after that, I was really lucky because I managed to get another job pretty much straight away as well. This was a bit more long term as well. So it was a 1-year maternity cover. And so I started off on there. And then May 2014, I thought I'd slow down a bit because, you know, P1 really knocked my confidence a bit, the amount of times that I did it. So I thought I'd take an easier paper. And then I did E2, I did E2 on there. And yeah, I passed. So I was really happy with that because at that point, because I was only on a temporary contract, I wasn't getting funding. I had to pay for myself. So I thought e-papers I probably am good. So I'll just do that on my own accord. So I did that. And then after that came November 2014, where I did F2 and P2. And I don't know if you remember, that was the time when they were about to change the syllabus from written exams to computer exams then by that point. So I thought, right, I have to pass F2 and E2 in November 2014 because then I'm just going to have to do the whole case study then after that as well. And by that point, I was engaged as well. So I had a marriage coming up in about 4 months' time after that as well. So it was like really all pressure kicking in as well. So, and then November 2014 came and then bang, I did the exams. And then 6-7 weeks later, I opened the email and take a guess. What did I say on the it was a double failure, and one of them, it was 48%. I think it was F2, which was only 48%. P I knew was bad because I always struggled with P, and yeah, I just did not enjoy the P in the pillars then as well. And then November
48. Sorry to interrupt you. 48 is the best fail mark you can get there, guys. So I want you to be. I know how gutting it is. I've got 48 myself. Honestly, I know how hard it is. When you get it, but it's the best fail mark you can get. So you're this close. You are knowledgeable. You really are. You know so much more than you think, especially once you failed. So please sit very close to it. 2 to 3 weeks after a mark like that, please resit.
So then obviously by that point I couldn't resit the paper exams because they'd gone on to the computer exams then as well. And then came 2015, and my priorities had changed because I was getting married in March, so obviously not long to go at all. So I was like, fine, do I do exams or do I study, focus on, getting ready to get married? So I didn't do anything in 2015 then. So 2015, got married, didn't do anything. And that was in March 2015. And then 2016 came. And then I think it was towards the end of 2015, I attended some classes to kind of refresh myself on some of the stuff on there, because obviously I hadn't studied in well over a year. And then by that point, I knew you had to book computer exams. So I attended the classes. They recommended to book the exams within 2 to 3 weeks of your last exam. Your last class.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. And then came around May 2016. By that point, my wife was expecting our first child as well. And I hadn't done an exam then as well. And then sort of the due date was getting nearer and nearer. Then it wasn't until about September 2016, which was about 3 months before our child was due to arrive, that my manager at the time, he was like, you've got 7 exams left. You need to get them done. You're 7 down, 7 more to go. You're halfway. You can't even just walk out. You spend so much time and money over the last, 4 or 5 years doing it. So just do it while your forthcoming arrival will be young, which was a baby boy. While he's going to be young, just get your exams done and dusted. Yeah. So then what he did was there and then booked onto the classes again on there. And so it was September.
He gave you a motivational push that day there, right?
I still remember that. He was like, look, we're doing the pay reviews at the moment because our financial year used to run, it was a 4-4-5. So it used to run from the last Sunday in August to, 52 weeks after that. So it was September 2016. They were doing the pay reviews. He was like, look, I can't really give you much more than, a few percent here because you've not done any exams in nearly 2 years. And you just, so you need to get this done. So that was a bit more motivation to work. So he booked me onto the class. So the same classes that I did in December 2015 into January 16, I attended those again. And the tutor recognized me as well. She was like, in these classes last year? Have you not done the exam? And then I explained to her, no, I haven't, and I'm really sorry, and I fully intend to do it this time. And then, so they were over a course of five Sundays I had to do that, starting, I think it's mid-October. And then came the end of November, and that was the last class. And then the due date was, bear in mind, the due date was getting very near as well. So I booked the exam about a week before the due date as well. And sorry, not a week, 2 weeks before the due date. Unfortunately, it was such a close pass again. So by that point, it was, how much do you need on the computer exams?
100,
I remember
100 out of 120. Yeah.
I got 96. And so it was just missed out again. So it was almost like the equivalent of 48 again. And so then I thought, let me just book it again. I know I'm so close to it. So I literally just booked it again. And and so I did it. And then this time the due date was getting even closer. So it's like literally 5 days before the due date. I booked it again and I passed with flying colours this time.
Your journey so far is sounding like a roller coaster. I'm only in 2016.
Yeah.
Did it feel like a roller coaster? Emotionally?
Yeah, it felt like a massive roller coaster. And then that was like a big motivation for me as well. So I thought, right, the baby's due anytime now. So, at least I managed to pass one exam before he's here. So I was really happy about that as well. And then
that must have boosted your confidence as well. Which one was that, F2?
F2, yes. And so, I was really happy with that. Because I knew the first time around, even when I did the written exam, I was so close. So then when I computer exams, I decided to go with just F2 first and then focus on P2 later as well, which is another interesting story. So and so then baby arrived 3 days before Christmas 2016, and then fast forward into 2017, then booked my classes onto the P2 classes then as well. So they didn't start until about mid-February, I think it was. So attended those, booked my exams, as they recommended, 2 to 3 weeks after your final exam. And I just wasn't passing it. And I passed, I think, on my 6th computer attempt.
Wow.
On it. And there was so really close marks as well. I started off on 84, then 90, then 96, then 98. I still remember these. And then it went backwards then as well. It went back to like 80 something. I was like, what am I doing wrong here? I'm so close. I know the information. I just don't know what happens to me in the exam. And then finally, I think by the time I passed, it was about July 2016 then as well. So I passed in P2. I was so glad that I passed it then as well. I was so exhausted by that point as well.
Yeah. How much did you beat yourself up in that period? The words and stories you were telling yourself. How much did you talk to yourself and think, oh my God, I must be rubbish? Or what were you saying to yourself?
I was really having doubts about myself. I was like, am I just not fit to be an accountant? At work, I can do everything. That's, I do my monthly tasks, month end, I'm involved with, but I just can't pass these exams. And it was, it's really horrible, when you have these thoughts going through your mind. You're thinking, maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Maybe I'm not as clever as I think I am. And these exams are just not for me. But I just still remember those words. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep going.
Yeah, I honestly felt exactly the same. Yeah, my career and my job I've talked about before, like it was going really well and I was doing really well at work and stuff and understanding it, but I couldn't pass the exams for whatever reason. Yeah, I remember that. And we don't need to beat ourselves up. But I obviously it's easy for us in hindsight to say that while we were going through it, we were both doing that. But do you think, looking back now, you could have done anything different to maybe not sit it 6 times, or?
Maybe I could have just in the actual exam maybe just read the question a bit more, because that P2 exam I was like done like with it was 90-minute exams. I used to be done within about an hour and 10 minutes, and maybe I was just skimming through them too quickly, and by the time I come out there's still 15 minutes left in there as well. Maybe I should have just utilized the time a bit better and just go through the questions that I wasn't sure on. And when they used to print that A4 paper out and it'd say fail on there every single time, like by about the 4th time I really wanted to cry. And I just thought, shall I just give up? But my biggest motivation for me was my little boy at the time as well. I was like, no, I can't. I have to keep going. And then when that day came, it was towards, I think sometime in July 2017. I was so happy, but I was so exhausted. I thought, I am not going to do the August case study. I'm just going to wait until November.
Yeah, and then, you've got your case studies to add on top of as well.
Yes, then as well. So yeah, then after that, then in August 2017, I had the interview for my current job that I'm working in, and that was a complete move away. So I was working in Milton Keynes, and then I got offered a job in central London. So yeah, it was always my dream to work in London as well. I wanted to be a city boy, so that dream came true as well. Probably about 5 years later than I wanted to. So I was nearly 30 by that point. And yes, that happened then as well. And then, so I handed in my resignation, and then I attended the classes for the case study then as well. And literally, I sat the case study one day before I started my new job then as well. So I was lucky in the sense that when I started my new job, they started my funding straight away, because they were like, look, you're towards the end of your exams. We won't make you wait until you pass your probation period. So yeah, we'll do it now then as well. So I started my job in November 2017, and then January 2018, the results came out and I passed. I was like, what? I was like, first time I passed, and it wasn't even like just pass as well. It was quite a decent pass as well. It was about 90 something that I got on there as well. So it was a comfortable pass as well. I was like, I just could not believe it. The amount I struggled with P2 on there as well. And then yeah, this happened as well. I was so chuffed in there. So then I could really see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's when I said to myself, right, I want to do my final exam either November 2018 or February 2019, because you could do the case study 4 times a year. Then came January 2018, so I had to make the decision which one I wanted to do. I was like, I am not starting with P3 again, considering how much I struggled with P1 and P2 as well. I am not starting with P3 again. So I decided to go with F3 because the schedule of the classes worked best for me as well. So they were starting pretty much straight away after I'd passed my case study. So I had the momentum going then as well. So started F3. Yeah, it's getting a bit more technical now than the management level as well. So yeah, attended that and then took the first exam at the end of March. Unfortunately, I didn't pass again. So just seems like a similar story. Again, with the F papers, I was only just missing out. It wasn't like I was miles off like I was with the P papers. So they took it again and I got exactly the same mark again. It was, I think it was like 96 I got. I was like, damn, what is going on here? And then it came, then I think it was about May by the time I passed it. I took it third time round. I thought, right, give a bit of a gap, go over it again. And yeah, I passed flying colours then as well. And then after that...
Do you think, sorry to interrupt you, do you think that gap made a positive difference to your mindset or your preparation?
Yeah, probably. I think it probably just, where I had the knowledge gaps as well. So yeah, that probably helped me kind of hone on those skills there as well, or fill up the knowledge bank there. Then after that came E3. So bear in mind, by this point I had a bit of an overlap because I was studying E3 classes, but then I also had the exam left over from F3 as well. So in E3 I was confident with that one, so I knew I'd be able to pass that one, and yeah, I did. So I did that one in August 2018, and yeah, passed first time on there as well, and exactly 100 as well. So I was like, I don't care, a pass is a pass.
Yeah, definitely, especially at that level. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then came the nemesis P3. I was like, oh, not P again. I really hate P. And so attended the classes pretty much straight after the E exam. So it was like kind of August/September 2018. And then I thought, right, I can either try and get the November 2018 case study, or give it a bit of a gap to kind of brush up on my knowledge and then take the exam. So I think I did the first exam about a month after the last class, and I failed, but the good news is it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. considering the luck with the previous ones. Then I did it again, and again I failed again. It was kind of better than the last time. And then third time I failed again. And I was like, oh, not again. But the positives I was taking out of it was the fact that my marks are improving each time. And then it was December 2018 where I finally passed it then as well. So it's fourth time lucky on P again. I was so glad P's out of the way as well. And then coincidentally, it was the same day I passed when the case study for the February 2019 exam came out as well. And then, yeah, February 2019, I was really lucky. I had a really good case study as well. I still remember it was on like wearable technologies and, like keeping fit and everything. So, yeah, I had a really good case study. And yeah, took the exam in February 2019 and I passed with flying colours. It was like the case studies I was doing really well, but it's just the P's I really struggled with as well. And I know a lot of people do struggle with P's.
Yeah, for sure. And especially multiple choice exams as well. I would say based on your marks going up every time, it's easy to say, but like there was probably just a knowledge misunderstanding or more understanding every single time you understood the knowledge a little bit more.
I really hated the P exams because they were very, very subjective on the multiple choice ones, because I really hated those questions where select all that apply. Now, I might think of it from a different point of view, but the actual answer is something else. Like sometimes I swear that could be a right answer, and then I really hate the ones where all of the above, but then you think, oh, I'm not sure on the third one. So is it all of the above or is it just one of them or two of them?
Yeah, test. Yeah, and that's just a test of exam technique more than knowledge, I think. You can't read that in a P3 textbook. You have to do the practice and learn the exam technique on how to pass a P3 question.
Yeah. And then after that, February 2019, I did it, passed, got the results in April 2019. Yay, I was so happy then as well. And then, got the big pay rise then as well. So, that's when I thought, right, that night in 2010, when I went to there, this is the moment that I've been working for as well. And then, just over the last 3 years, kind of built up my experience, because there's a bit of a gap between when I passed my final exam and when I got the letters, because then I wasn't sure I had the right experience level and as well. So I was just kind of working on my experience. Then probably COVID delayed it slightly as well. Then a second child came along as well. And then 2021, I thought, right, I need to get my experience done as well, get it all written up. That's another tip that I would recommend to CIMA students. Don't leave your PER to the end. Just keep doing it while you're actually studying then as well. And then finally, January 2022 is when I got the certificate then as well.
Good. Yeah, no, I do say it's easy as a coach to say this, but if you start your PER while you're waiting for your management case study results, and then you finish your PER while you're waiting for your strategic case study results, so that when you get your result, even if you didn't have passed, even if you hadn't have passed, it's all there ready. Research strategic case study, pass, then press the submit button on your PER, done. Then you get this black within like a few weeks. Done.
So looking back at it was almost 10 years since from when I registered. So I think I officially registered with CIMA in January 2012, because when I started my job in 2011, I had to wait 6 months before I got the funding as well. So it was almost 10 years from when I first registered to when I got my certificate as well. And it's just looking back at all of that, I was like, how on earth did I get through that roller coaster of a journey?
I was just going to say, it was absolutely sounds like a roller coaster. Even it was like exciting for me, thinking, which one next? Like, when did you? Because obviously we know you passed, we know you qualified, so we knew it was coming, but very much up and down,
Yeah, highs and lows. I mean, for me, the absolute lowest probably has to be that period in 2013. Because that's the point where, I started a job which didn't work out to be, it was a horrible job as well. I try not to dwell on it now. It's been almost a decade now. So, I'm a lot further now than where I was back then as well. And, no money coming in, failed an exam as well, retook it, still failed it again as well. And that was probably really the low point. That was probably the point where I really wanted to give up. I had no motivation. I just did not want to do the CIMA exams as well. And but I don't know, just somehow I just stuck at it, and here I am all these years later.
I'm glad you stuck at it. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about the rewards in a minute, but yeah, you got your plaque, like you've done it, you've actually achieved what you wanted to achieve, and that's just a great feeling.
Yeah.
It is good. I mean, I've had some conversations and some students who have had life issues, let's call them, outside of CIMA, you know, no job or lots of other life issues, especially COVID, like, and there's never a perfect time to do your CIMA or ACCA qualification, but there is some times where you do need to like maybe put yourself first, and if you're in a good-ish place, if you know what that means to you guys individually, but like if you're not in a good place, you don't have to add CIMA on top of that. But when you are in an okay, safe place for you, add CIMA on top of it because you want to finish it, because you started this for a reason, and because it's what I think. I'm biased, but I think it's worth it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a struggle. You know, at one point, you know, I was juggling, you know, marriage, working in London 5 days a week, and then the sixth day going in to Kaplan for CIMA classes as well, juggling my work as well. You know, spending time with my wife and kid. You know, 2018 when I was studying the strategic level, that was like a real test of the relationship as well, because that's the one where literally I was away for like pretty much 6 days a week, because back then there was no such, well, I did used to work from home every now and again, but not as much as I do now and as well. So yeah, that was really hard as well in 2018, but you know, the motivation was there.
I'm glad that you were on strategic level. You were so close to the end. Like it was, I feel like you would absolutely never give up at that point. Guys, if you're watching this and you've got E3, P4 or F3 or strategic to go, please keep going. Please keep going, because you're so close. Yeah, like, you know, especially how many exams you did, all the certificate ones as well. So yeah. I'm glad. Well, it's great to talk to you. So I would love to know a few things more. So when you first started your CIMA, or you know, in 2011, what opportunities did you think would come for you when you got your plaque up on the wall?
Yeah, so I thought back then, well, money, obviously, that's the big thing as well. And yeah, just various titles as well. I really wanted the letters after my name, you know, ACMA, or now you've got CGMA as well. And, you know, just working my way up, you know, finance. I'm currently working as a senior management accountant, and, you know, eventually finance manager, finance business partner, financial controller, FD as well. I could just see all these paths laid out in front of me, you know, as I progress in my career as well.
And the $64 million question, I guess, is what opportunities have come since you've qualified?
Well, no, for me, the biggest opportunity that came, well, I probably shouldn't be saying this if my employer is watching, is the amount of, you know, requests, well, not requests, the amount of like, you know, interview requests that I get coming through via LinkedIn, or, you know, and recruiters approaching me as well. So, yeah, just that. And well, I think at the moment I'm okay where I am, but you know, nothing lasts forever, and as well, so I probably would like to move up as well, you know, once I get the right opportunity that comes along.
And but now you've got hundreds of doors of opportunities.
Definitely, yeah. I think, you know, there's the opportunities to work all around the world as well, because, you know, CIMA is a global body as well. Now, obviously, at this stage of my career, obviously, with young kids, one in full-time school and one's just 1 year old, I don't think I'd really want to move away, you know, to work abroad. But yeah, no, if you're, you know, young, single, there is ample opportunity to work abroad as well.
And that's even more exciting, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so just see what it brings now as well. Just having the letters after my name as well just kind of gives me a lot more respect. I'm the first and only accountant in my family, in my extended family as well. So yeah, really happy about that as well.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. I know some people don't like this, but I personally do love the letters after my name as well. My first business card at work, I made sure that they were on there. And I know some people think, oh God, that's really fancy, or I don't want that. Well, I did. And I'm so proud. I've got all my cards still. I loved it. Like, yeah, it was just this self-empowered thing. And you know, I felt more respected at work. I just felt better in myself to give that financial advice as a manager as well.
Yeah. And also I find that ever since I've qualified, you know, I get in the, when we have our monthly reviews with like the FD, the MD, and the COO of our business, and the head of my business unit that I look after, they kind of look at me like a lot more seriously than when I was just a student as well. So definitely at that point as well, I get looked at a lot more seriously as well.
Yeah, I agree. I do. And especially when you move, if you ever do move jobs and companies, then they would never have known you as a qualifying accountant either. You'll just go straight in at that level,
yeah,
and be able to jump and grow from there. So
yeah, they've seen me progress over the last 4.5 years as well. So yeah, definitely that's been an advantage too.
And definitely the fact that you passed your case studies first time, both of them, shows that you can do the job. Like that's the conversations you'll have with these people. You are writing them in an exam and passing them, so you can definitely verbally do it at work. So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one final question, my favorite question. So I give a lot of revision tips on LinkedIn every single day. That's what I'm about. So what would be your number one tip for qualifying accountants listening?
My biggest tip would be just never give up. It's not an easy journey. There will be failures along the way, but just think about it. The day you registered on the CIMA website, why did you do it? You did not have the intention to just stop and just give up. That's my number one tip. Just don't give up. Continue going, and just remember the day you started with CIMA.
Oh, that's a great tip. That is so true as well, isn't it? Like that's one of the reasons why the interviews are here, Diaries of a Revision Geek, so that we can inspire and motivate you guys. If you're listening and watching, like you can get this plaque. Like it wasn't easy for us. Our journey was roller coasters, failures all over the place, but passing at the end of it and a lot of determination.
Yeah,
and it really is. You can get this plaque. So yeah, please keep going. Don't give up. Please keep going. Thank you so much for letting me interview you today. It was so fun. I enjoyed learning about your journey. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.